Hello from the American National Standards Institute, and welcome to this video about ANSI Z136.1, the standard that details requirements for the safe use of lasers. In this video, we will first discuss what exactly lasers are and how the light emitted from a laser differs from white light and thus poses hazards. Second, we will cover the ANSI Z136 series for the safe use of lasers. Third, we will go in depth over ANSI Z136.1, which sets the foundation for laser safety in various applications. Fourth, we will discuss hazard classifications and their controls. Lastly, we will discuss the importance of compliance to ANSI Z136.1. Laser is an acronym for Light Amplification by Stimulated Emission of Radiation. A laser specifically is a device that emits light through a process of optical amplification based on the stimulated emission of electromagnetic radiation. Lasers are created by exciting electrons in atoms with energy from an electrical current or light, causing them to emit. This release of photons is known as stimulated emission, and it creates a synchronized and coherent beam of laser light. A laser beam itself does not have a temperature, but when it interacts with a material, such as glass, crystal, or gas, the photons in the laser beam are absorbed by the atoms or molecules in that material, causing them to gain energy and vibrate more, which translates to heat. The beam of light emitted from a laser is so intense that it can cut straight through the densest materials, such as metal, leather, marble, diamonds, and ceramics. Unlike light generated by white light sources, such as a light bulb, laser light is monochromatic, directional, and coherent. Monochromatic means that the light emitted from a laser is of one wavelength or color. Ordinary white light, on the other hand, is a combination of all visible wavelengths or colors. Directional means that the beam of light has very low divergence. Whereas light from conventional sources such as the sun, a light bulb, or a candle spreads in all directions. The intensity may be large at the source, but it decreases rapidly as an observer moves away from the source. Lastly, coherent means that waves of light are in phase with each other in space and time. A light bulb produces many wavelengths, making it incoherent. These three properties of laser light are what makes it more of a safety hazard than ordinary light. While laser technology has transformed and benefited industries, lasers also pose potential hazards if not used safely and responsibly. That's where the ANSI Z136 standard series come into play. The present scope of ANSI Z136 includes 9 standards that aim to protect against hazards associated with the use of lasers and optically radiating diodes being used in manufacturing, military, research and testing, healthcare, and higher education. Each standard within the Z136 series offers specialized guidance tailored to the unique requirements of different industries and applications. ANSI Z136.1 is the cornerstone of the Z136 series of laser safety standards, laying out the Z1 foundation of laser safety programs. As the parent document of the Z136 series of laser safety standards, ANSI Z136.1 is the foundation of laser safety programs for industry, military, research and development, and higher education. ANSI Z136.1 provides guidance for the safe use of lasers and laser systems that operate at wavelengths between 180 nanometers and 1,000 micrometers. The standard specifies both the environment in which the laser is being used and any environment around the path of the beam. While susceptibility to damage of materials is an important consideration with laser operations, the primary concern is the hazard to any person operating the equipment. ANSI Z136.1 provides guidance for the safe use of lasers and laser systems by defining control measures for each of 7 laser hazard classifications. These classifications are Class 1, Class 1M, Class 2, Class 2M, Class 3 are Class 3B, and Class 4. Class 1 lasers are safe under normal operating conditions and do not pose a hazard to the skin or eyes. They are exempt from any controls. Class 1M lasers are safe and do not normally pose a hazard for unaided viewing, but may be hazardous if viewed with collecting optics. Class 2 lasers are low-power lasers that emit visible radiation and are unlikely to cause eye injury. However, blinking or aversion responses are recommended to protect against accidental exposure. Class 2M lasers do not normally pose a hazard for unaided viewing but may be hazardous if viewed with collecting optics. Class 3R can cause eye and skin injury but pose a lower risk than Class 3B lasers. Class 3B are more hazardous than Class 3R lasers and are relatively unsafe under direct and specular reflection viewing conditions. Class 4 lasers are the most hazardous and can cause severe eye and skin injury. They also require special precautions and safety measures. Individuals who work with high-power Class 3B and Class 4 lasers and laser systems include, for example, industrial users who cut metals and ceramics, such as manufacturers of automobiles, computers, and medical devices, industrial workers who weld using lasers, and those utilizing other laser material applications, including laser engraving, drilling, and ablation. The safety measures for these hazards include administrative controls, which are organizational procedures and practices to minimize laser hazards. This may involve safety training, designated laser safety officers, and clear safety policies and procedures. Next, engineering controls, which are the measures that focus on the design and engineering of laser systems to reduce the risk of exposure. Examples include beam shutters, interlocks, and enclosures. Third, control measures on the appropriate personal protective equipment such as laser safety goggles or face shields. Lastly, signs and labels. The standard outlines requirements for labeling lasers and laser-controlled areas to communicate potential hazards effectively, and the document specifies that design of signs and labels be in accordance with ANSI Z136.1 series of standards for accident-preventing signs. Once a laser or laser system is properly classified, there should be no need to carry out tedious measurements or calculations to meet the provisions of ANSI Z136.1. However, technical information on measurements, calculations, and biological effects is also provided within the standard and its appendices. Laser hazards include eye and skin damage, such as burns, blind spots, and damage to sight, tissue damage as lasers can cause thermal damage to tissue proteins, photochemical damage when photons interact with tissue cells, and lasers with continuous wave output can cause fire hazards. To mitigate these hazards, organizations should establish a laser safety program to comply with ANSI Z136.1. This program should encompass the following key elements: hazard assessment, which is a thorough evaluation of laser systems and their potential hazards; control measures, which includes the implementation of administrative and engineering controls, as well as personal protective equipment as necessary; training and education, which involves proper training for personnel working with lasers to assure that they understand the risks and safety procedures; laser safety officers, which incorporates designating a laser safety officer responsible for overseeing and enforcing safety protocols; emergency procedures, which consists of developing and communicating emergency response plans in case of laser-related accidents; regular audits and inspections, which are periodic checks to ensure that safety measures and controls are in place and effective; and documentation, which refers to maintaining records of laser safety activities, training, and incidents. It is essential for organizations and individuals working with lasers to comply to ANSI Z136.1 to mitigate risks and assure the safe use of laser systems, prioritizing the well-being and safety of all involved. The ANSI Z136.1 standard is indispensable in creating a safe working environment where lasers are used. You can find ANSI Z136.1 on the ANSI web store and in the following standards packages.